If you ever wanted to get into the band Voivod, I recommend that you start with The Outer Limits. I will be giving my arguments for this throughout this video, so let's get started. Voivod is a band that defies easy classification due to their ever-evolving musical direction. While their earlier works leaned towards thrash metal, they later delved into a more sophisticated and softer sound on their acclaimed masterpiece, Nothing Face. With Angel Rat, they embraced a rock-oriented style infused with Floydian influences. But today, we're talking about The Outer Limits, an album that showcases their growth in sound quality and vocals, particularly notable for the brilliant drumming that has never sounded better. The Outer Limits is the 7th studio album by the Canadian heavy metal band Voivod, released through Mechanic MCA Records on August 4th, 1993, and it is celebrating its 30th anniversary. I was always drawn to this album, one, because I used to love those old 3D comics with the glasses that had the red and blue lenses. Those were very cool, and secondly, because I was a fan of the old TV show, The Outer Limits. It had these cool monsters like the Zenti Misfits. The first time I discovered Voivod was through their cover of Astronomy Domini, and that was from the album Nothing Face. But on this album, they cover another Pink Floyd song called the Nile Song. What's interesting about this song is that it is possibly the heaviest song ever recorded by Pink Floyd, and this was back in 1968. If you listen to the original, it sounds like a grunge song from the 90s. This album also includes Voivod's longest track, Jack Luminous, clocking in at an impressive 17 minutes and 26 seconds. Upon its initial release, the CD version came with a fun addition, a miniature pair of 3D glasses to view the booklet art. Interestingly, the album's cover text in the upper right corner reads number 8, which refers to the fact that is, in fact, the band's 8th overall release, if you count the compilation The Best of Voivod. The Outer Limits marked a significant shift for the band, as it was the final album to feature vocalist Denise Belanger until his return in 2002. Additionally, it was the first album without Voivod's original bassist, Blackie, who had already departed before the release of their critically acclaimed but commercially unsuccessful 1991 album, Angel Rat. To record the album, the band enlisted session musician Pierre Saint-Jean to play bass guitar, not to be confused with a Canadian Olympic powerlifter of the same name. Nobody can say that my videos are not informative. I went from the band Voivod to a Canadian powerlifter just like that. Back to the album. Here's an image of the back cover of the album with a track listing. There are 9 songs, so let's talk about them. Fix My Heart is the opening track, and the one thing you're going to notice at first, it has more of a 90s sound. You hear the alternative rock influence. They haven't completely abandoned their sound. But there are less progressive rock styles and tempo changes. It's a little more straightforward. But they still sound like Voivod. I think it's a little more accessible. There's still lots of guitar riffs, and the guitar solos sound a little bit more like traditional heavy metal or even classic rock. But it's a pretty cool opening track. The next song is called Moonbeam Rider, and it sounds a little bit more like classic Voivod, but it still has that stripped down sound. And you hear more of those typical guitar chords that are played on the higher end of the guitar neck. There's also this atmospheric section with the clean guitars that kind of reminded me of classic Pink Floyd. The subsequent guitar solo even had hints of David Gilmour. Track 3 is called Le Pont Noir. It's in French, and it has a slow and atmospheric intro. It kind of brings you in a mood with these almost spoken style words in the intro. The song takes a turn with some trippy and psychedelic guitar riffs. It actually reminds me a little of Riders on the Storm by the Doors. It just has that type of atmosphere. As the song moves towards the end, it gets a little heavier and trippier, but it's a very different type of song. Now we have a Pink Floyd cover called the Nile Song, originally written by Roger Waters for the movie More. The song is faithful to the original. It's kind of surprising that at one point Pink Floyd was actually this heavy. The next song is called Lost Machine, and the song is a very big sound. It's almost like this big mechanical mega Godzilla, and it's just gone loose, wreaking havoc on a city. The song is catchy. It basically has the main guitar riff that drives the entire song. They bring a little bit of that progressive metal back into the song with a very distinct tempo change at one point in the song. Time Warp is the next song, not to be confused with the Time Warp from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is very different. It's actually very upbeat and radio friendly, or at least that was my first impression after the first 30 seconds of the song, because as the song moves on, they bring back more of that classic sound. The song goes through some different changes with some softer, more haunting and ominous sections with some loud screams coming out of nowhere. We have Jack Luminous. It's time for their 17-minute prog rock masterpiece. You already have an idea of what this band is about after listening to the first 6 tracks, but this is Voivod in all of its glory. This is the band at their progressive metal peak, showing you everything they have to offer. The song is like a space ride. Sometimes you're floating in space, and other times you have all engines running. There are a lot of cool guitar riffs, and the bass guitar sounds very good. The vocals range from the heavy to the melodic. There's one part that reminded me a little of their cover of the song Astronomy Domini. There are even some heavy and chunky guitar riffs. There is a very soft interlude that comes in at around 11 minutes that evokes the sounds of Pink Floyd and other progressive rock bands. The song is one big space ride, and it's pretty cool. Track number 8 is Wrong Way Street. This song is pretty cool because it's a straightforward rock song with a cool bass guitar sound. It almost even sounds like punk rock or even alternative rock. The song still has that signature Voivod style guitar riffs. We Are Not Alone is the last track, number 9. It's more of a fast-paced song with a classic sound. The song has a lot of energy. The song has a really cool, funky interlude. The song is about aliens, so that's always something I always find cool. So that is all. This is a cool album. It's a little more leaning towards alternative rock, being that it came out in the early 90s. So if you are looking for heavy thrash metal, this is not the album for you. I would recommend one of their earlier albums, but if you want to get into the band, this is a pretty accessible album. The songs are well done. It has everything. It has the Pink Floyd cover. It has the long prog rock song. It's a nice sample of what they do. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this album. Is it one of your favorites? Please like this video. It helps me with the algorithm. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And here's my video of the latest album by Voivod called Morgoth Tales. You can check that out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.